This video is going to be going over what are the 6th best SMGs to be using inside Warzone after the Season 2 Reloaded update. If you do enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click that link in the description and subscribe to our second channel. But like I said, this video is all about the best SMGs that are in Warzone. We had the addition of the new Armaguerra 43 SMG. We also had the following adjustments to the well gun as well, which we also factored in when calculating the TTKs for the weapon. So we got a fire rate for the base weapon decreased. Obviously the recoil was increased as well. The sten got some magazine increases, but the well gun also got a slight change further down as well here, where the Grenko 40 rounds or the 48 round mags are actually going to increase the fire rate a little bit more, but they actually reduce the damage now of this. So they kind of nerfed the well gun overall. So we're going to be factoring all this in when we're looking at the TTKs. Now, speaking of TTKs right now, so what we have here is the Armaguerra SMG. We do have the Armaguerra SMG with Vital. Now, I don't have Vital unlocked, but with the Type 100, you actually get a +2 torso damage boost. So that's what we just kind of factored in, as if it was going to be the same as the Type 100. Now, it might be the case that it's only a +1. Now, when it comes to the Armaguerra with 300 HP this time, we're actually getting a 650 millisecond TTK at close range. That's without Vital, and that's just with the base kind of magazine. And then at longer ranges, it's 768. Now, I do believe this SMG only has 2 damage drop-off points because it is advertised more as a sniper support SMG. Now, in terms of damage profile, chest shot damage is 25 at close range, and then 23 at longer ranges. And obviously the headshot damage is there as well if you want to check that out. Now, if you do use Vital and it turns out that is a +2 on the upper torso, then obviously it would be 27 damage with a 650 millisecond TTK still. And then at long range, it'll be 650 as well. So very consistent as a sniper support weapon, as you can see here. So what we have here now is our new and improved TTK spreadsheet with the data taken from the sim.gg website. Now, the only exceptions to this are the well gun and the new Armaguerra SMG because they've not been updated yet on the website. So I'm going to assume everything else is perfectly correct because they weren't adjusted in the patch notes. And we've got the TTKs for all these weapons at 300 HP. Now, again, the sim.gg website doesn't have 300 HP on there, so we had to redo the calculations to get it for this health value now as well. So this should be an updated TTK spreadsheet for now until we get maybe 300 HP on that website. But what I'm going to do is arrange this for close range TTKs only because that's what we're focusing on for this video. We will make a sniper support video as well as a long range AR video as well for anyone who is interested. When we go for the close range TTKs, we've got the Owen gun, which is now the best, fastest TTK SMG in the game, and this has not been adjusted with this update, so this should be the case for this gun. It's a 584 millisecond TTK, which is pretty slow in terms of overall, but because this gun outputs a ton of damage and it depends on the bullets to kill, this gun is still up there in terms of one of the fastest TTK weapons. So the Owen gun's probably going to be most people's option in my opinion. Then we've got the Sten, which is pretty solid, and the reason why this is so good is because the fire rate is absolutely insane. So with this build, you get 620 millisecond TTK. Again, I'll show you that build later on. The OTS is back in the mix now, so it's got the Modern Warfare AUG, Modern Warfare MP5, Armaguerra's in there, Vanguard PPSH is in there, Modern Warfare Phoenix in there, Type 100's up there, so kind of somewhere. The AK-74U is actually a solid option now, and the MP40 is pretty cool as well because the MP7 and the MP40 both have a pretty similar TTK, and they also both have very low recoil. And as you can see down at the very bottom here, as we're going further down, we've got the Cold War MP5, the Mac 10s, the well guns now a lot further down the list because it got nerfed, and even the Lapa's a lot further down now as well because of the amount of bullets to kill. So let's jump straight into some classes for the best 6 SMGs here. So the Armaguerra 43 is definitely in this list and is definitely a solid SMG at the moment. It's kind of funny how it's the new gun and it's also one of the fastest TTK weapons, but it's definitely a solid option for close range. You want to use the recoil booster. I did mention in my previous video you don't want to use any barrel unless you're using this as a sniper support. Then the 550mm will be the better option here. But for close range, you want to opt out of having a barrel, because this one actually cons bullet velocity as well as your recoil control, so you don't really want to con to that. But if you do want overall better movement speed, you can go for the 180mm, but I tend to stay away from it just to keep the recoil control as much as possible. Carbon foregrip, but you could choose the skeletal, or you could choose the hand stop, or the pistol grip. All of them are kind of decent options depending on how you want to build this weapon, but I like the carbon foregrip at the moment. 42 round fast mags, because I do think I like to have a faster reload, and 42 rounds is kind of enough. Now that they increase the health though, some people might find it better to use a 60 rounds, so both of these are really good options. You don't want to use either of these two options here, because this is going to give you a slower TTK, and this is just not enough bullets in the mag to even warrant using it, especially now with the increased health. Fabric grip, vital perk, quick, folding stock, or the perfecto stock is a good option as well. Iron sights, or just the standard iron sights that you get on the weapon to begin with. Somehow the Modern Warfare MP5 still manages to make the list, which I'm quite happy about. And we've got this build right here. Like I said, that we're always trying to build the Modern Warfare weapons for movement, because they'll get beat out by Cold War and Vanguard weapons each and every time. So like I said, you need to build these guns to make them a little bit faster. That's why we're not using any Merc foregrips here. So integral suppressor, 5mm laser, 45 round mag, stipple grip tape for the better ADS times as well, and then the collapsible stock obviously for the movement speeds as well. So like I said, no Merc foregrip because it actually slows you down, and that way you can get better strafing speeds out of the MP5. Next, we've got the Modern Warfare AUG. Now, you can use this with the lightweight suppressor, which I'd recommend over the monolithic suppressor. This gun already has a very slow ADS time, and that is why we're using all these attachments to actually bring that ADS a little bit quicker. So lightweight suppressor, even though it cons your damage range, is probably going to be the better option. 5mm laser for the better hip fire accuracy. When it comes to the stock, the ultralight hollow is a solid option for the better strafing speeds, or the CQB comb's good for better ADS times. It's just going to be personal preference. I usually swap between the two depending on what I feel on the day. Stipple grip tape is going to be the best option for the rear grip. Then the 30 round mags. Now, for a fast, aggressive SMG, I do think this gun is okay with 30 rounds because of the TTK potential it has. Now, the 60 round mags are good, but to be honest, it's going to slow you down way too much. So next up, we have the OTS, which probably quite a few people will be happy about because this gun was meta for quite a long time. So people probably have this leveled up already. So the build that I recommend using now is the regular sound suppressor. It's going to give you better bullet velocity, sprint to fire speeds, and all that kind of stuff. It will con your damage range a little, but it's not by much. Task Force barrel, which will basically extend that damage range back out, but also give you really good strafing speeds. Bruiser grip for the better movement now, because it is the best Cold War attachment for movement. 40 round mags, because you're going to need it now because of this increase in health. And then the Serpent wrap for the better ADS time. Next up, we have the Sten, and you can build this a couple of different ways if you really wanted to. You could build it for more hip fire, but I'm building it more as a well-rounded SMG that we can use in pretty much kind of close and that kind of close to medium range as well. Now, this gun does have quite a lot of recoil. I will let you know that right now. You're not going to be able to control this gun at like medium to medium long range. It's just not going to work, and that's why this video is all about aggressive SMG. So you do want to use the recoil booster. You also want to use the rapid barrel. This is what's going to give you the fastest possible TTKs with this gun. Then we're using the iron sight optic. You could choose whatever optic you like. The Guai and Para stock is usually the best option when it comes to the Sten. Gung Ho, you can also use steady as well. Sleight of hand's a solid option too, but Gung Ho just gives you that option to hit fire when you need to and without having that sprint to fire time, so it's quite handy to have it there. You do need quick as your perk too, just to get better movement speeds. Polymer grip will help a bit more with the recoil of this weapon, but if you can control it, I highly recommend going for the fabric grip. It's going to give you better overall movement speeds, which will be very helpful when you're in those close quarter gunfights, and that's what I tend to use as the fabric grip. 50 round drum mags, and there is no difference in TTK between the Grenko mags and the 50 round drum mags, so you're actually better off going with the 50 round mags than the 36 round mags. Even though usually for the most part the fire rate mags do give you a better TTK, in this case it doesn't really matter, so the 50 round mags will be the best option. We're going for lengthened here because hollow point actually cons your damage range by 20% now, which is a lot, so you don't really want that con on an SMG, so I would definitely recommend staying away from hollow point as well now. Then I would go with the hand stop for this gun. You can go for the carver foregrip as well, but again, like I said, there's a lot of recoil, so I would recommend more the hand stop on this gun. And like I said, this is the second fastest killing SMG in the game, so it's definitely a solid option. And at number 1, the best SMG in the game right now, in my opinion, has to be the Owen gun. The Owen gun fires a little bit slower than your average SMG, and that is why we're building it with the recoil booster and the faster fire rate barrel, even though it cons your damage. But it does have the fastest TTK in the game with this build right here, and because it's got that slow fire rate, it's easier to manage the recoil. The only issue with this gun is the mags, and I've said this each time I recommend using this gun, because it blocks your screen and you do need to use the Grenko 72 round drum mags. That is what's going to give you that better TTK potential. Now, when it comes to optics, there is a little life hack you can do. Instead of using the Model 47 or even the slate reflector, which is what I tend to personally use anyway, just because it gives you the little bit faster ADS time, you can actually go for the slate custom. When you switch it to the secondary optic, it pushes the mag down below the screen. Then the remove stock. Fleet, you could also use acrobatic or steady as well. Both are really solid options. Perk 2 is quick. Fabric grip pretty much goes for every single SMG anyway. Lengthened once again because you don't really want to be using hollow point anymore, and then the carver foregrip. So there we have it. Those are the 6 best SMGs inside Warzone at the moment. If you did enjoy this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Also, click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel as well. We will be posting the long range ARs video as well as a sniper support video once we calculate all the stats. And thank you very much for watching.